Good afternoon to respected speaker and all participants. Myself, Sachin Sawant, Assistant Professor of Mechanical Engineering Department, SND College of Engineering and Research Center. It's give me immense pleasure to welcome to all the participants for fourth day 1 week faculty development program on innovative practices in teaching learning process. I hope everyone will get benefits from all sessions. Today, we are going for session number 8, research proposal and paper writing by Dr. Suhas Gazre sir. It's my pleasure to introduce our speaker for today's session, Dr. Suhas Gazre sir, who has graciously accepted our invitation to join us today.
Thank you.
Dr. Suhas Gajre sir is highly accomplished individual in the field of contributing in teaching and research from last 33 years. Suhas Gajre sir completed his SSC in 1984 with securing 12th rank in divisional board. Sir also completed 12th in 1986, secured second rank in divisional board. Sir also completed Sir also completed graduated in 1990 with securing second rank in university. Completed post-graduation in 1995 with securing second rank in university, and sir completed PhD from IIT Delhi in 2007. Dr. Suhas Gajre sir presently working as a principal, Government College of Engineering, Jalgaon from 9th November 2023 to till date. Sir has also worked as a head of Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering. Sir also worked as a Dean Industry License, TPO in charge, work as a Dean in charge TPO, Dean Incubation, Dean Procurement, Dean Innovation, Incubation and Linkages. Sir handled notable responsibilities as a government nominated member of Governing Board MSBT since 4 December 2023. Member of MAGIC's Marathwada Accelerator for Growth and Incubation Council. Also working on board of research of Swami Ramanand Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded, by nominated from Honorable Governor, Government of Maharashtra since 20th July 2023. Under the guidance of Sir, 6 students completed PhD, 8 students PhD going on. Sir has published 20 plus journal publications. Sir also attended 20 plus conferences, and Sir published 4 book chapters. In research, Sir has getting different funds from AICT RPS research proposal scheme in 2012 to 2014, around 7 lakh. Also ongoing project of RPS is the fund of near about 16 lakh. Also, sir has going project of getting AICT Idea Laboratory as a co-coordinator, having fund of near about 1,100 lakhs in 2021 to 2023. Sir is also awarded, recently sir awarded as a best teacher of SRT Marathwada University, Nanded for 2023-24. We are honored to have eminent personality like you, sir, with us today to share your insights and experience with our participants. On the behalf of SND College of Engineering and Research Center community, I would like to extend warm welcome to Dr. Suhas Gajre sir. I am sure that this interaction with our expert speaker will be valuable learning experience for all of us. With that, I invite Dr. Suhas Gajre sir to guide us to our participants. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. And before I begin, let me thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts. Although I know that this is online, it would have been good if this FDP was offline. But anyways, so today we have gathered here to discuss about research, how to write a research proposal, rather what are the components of research proposal, and how to write a good research paper. And I know from the contents of the FDP that some of the things which you are getting are of excellent quality. Now, because I have not here my regular setup of two machines and one another backup machine, I have joined using only my laptop, and I will soon join here with my keyboard and mouse. But since this is a laptop where I can write my own thoughts also using pen, so what I will do is I will just switch off my video and just talk, because when I just keep it like this, you will what you will see is only light and fan. So just excuse me for this, and let me just switch off my video and share my presentation. So please let me know whether you are able to see the screen.
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible. Thank you.
And what about my mouse?
Yeah, it is also visible, sir.
Red colored circle.
Yeah. Red color circle dot.
Okay, thank you. Just I will switch off my video also. Yeah, thank you. So this is my actually hashtag for the year. As you might have heard, that I have joined here as principal on 9th of November. And after joining here, I thought that I should give some hashtag to inspire my students and faculty and all stakeholders. So as you can see here, my hashtag for this year is keep innovating every day, because it's very important to give something new to the society, and it's also important to do it with regular practice. So I thought let's give this topic as my hashtag. Okay. So this is our topic, research proposal and paper writing. And just confirm whether I'll write welcome once again. So whether you are able to see this welcome.
Yes, sir. We are able to see the welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So what I have done is that normally my contents are, I mean, packed, because I don't want to waste time. And later I will share this to everyone also. So you don't have to worry about writing down. And anyways, you are recording the video, so video will be also later available. But just for the record, I will give this PPT to the organizers. They will share it to you. So to accommodate more facts, I just keep my presentation length very large. So just tell me how much minutes I have. Is 2:35 right now?
Sir, you can continue till 4:30, sir.
Till 4:30.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Without break.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. If you want to take break, you can take.
Okay. ठीक है. So I have divided as you can see this presentation into two parts, three parts rather. Uh, the the main part is obviously writing research paper and writing research proposal, but there are some other parts such as warming up and some comments, tips, suggestions, and epilogue. Okay, so so just for warming up, although it may be a repetition for you, I'll just have my thoughts on what is research, right? So the research word is actually from the French word of researcher, or to search for or to look for. And the research is actually a careful, systematic, patient study and investigation in some field of knowledge undertaken to establish facts or principles. Okay. So it is a rediscovery basically, because it is assumed that there is something present, but somebody has not discovered it. So you are discovering it, or rather, somebody has discovered it, but you are rediscovering it with some new aspects. So it's a journey from the known to the unknown, or rather, journey to the unknown to make the unknown facts known to the world. Okay. So it's effort basically so that we get the truth, whatever truth it is. We have to find in search of truth. Whatever we do is a research. So it's basically uncovering the dark spots. This is a picture which I have taken from one of the presentations during the literature survey for this particular presentation. And I like this picture a lot because it gives some a fair idea of what can be the research. For example, in this picture, there are some bright spots which are illuminated. Then there are some dark spots which are say behind this tree, and there are some things which are not able to see with our naked eyes. So to find out what is not seen, then to just correlate it with what is already there in this picture is nothing but a research. Okay. So how much we know, if we ask this question to ourselves, there are many answers to this question, but as you can see, what I have done here is that I have divided this into three parts. That one part I have covered as I know that I know, which is a very small part. Although this representation is this is just a representational pie chart. The second part, which here I have shown as I know that I don't know, and the third most important part I have also covered here, which I have shared it a maximum as I don't know that I don't know. And it is these two, this one and this one, these two parts are where we have to go to do certain kind of research, right? So if we want to do this, obviously you have to make this research as all parts green now, right? So you either go to the part as I know that I don't know part. So you know something, but you don't know something related to that what you know, and you really don't know that you don't know that. Correct. And that is the bigger portion basically. So this portion is so big, right? That this is where you have to do most of the research. Okay. So this is one of the image which I got from my image search of what is research, and it is search, analysis, data, then some www, which gives a fair idea of what are the things to come in research, right? And here I want to just go off a little bit and will tell you a story of a blind name called as Eric. So this is basically from a documentary, BBC documentary, which is Inside the Human Body. And this documentary, this is a part three, which is building your brain. And what this story is basically a story of about 1 hour, where the researcher or the narrator has given experiences of about how the brain functions rather, or how brain works. Okay, but during that he has shared many anecdotes, and one of the anecdote is for this blind man called Eric. So what he is, this man basically was not born blind. Okay, so he was a normal person, but just during the say 30s he got blindness, and later he thought what to do with my own life, right? So he contacted some of the researchers, and some of the researchers then developed one machine which is called as um, a, a brain teleport kind of device. Okay, so it's a goggle basically, and using this goggle there is one camera here. So you might be able to see this camera, right? So what this camera does is camera captures picture. Okay, captures pictures like this. For example, there is a hook here, it captures pictures, and after capturing this picture it then converts all these with some simple image processing, it converts it into tiny vibrators, right? So for example, here you can see a round, so here you will get some vibrations which will look like round. Okay, this vibrator then he puts in his mouth. Okay, so here you can see that he has put this vibrator in his mouth, and with his tongue he senses those vibrations, and later creates an image in his brain that there is something like a hook here. And with a hand and with a little bit of practice, he then gets. And the story doesn't end here. This story tells that he has climbed this particular rock. It's a, you can see this rock here, and it's a very steep and very heighted rock, right? So here you can see the person, the same person here, uh, looking very small with one portion. And not only that, in this picture also you can see the size of this rock, right? So these are two people. So one person was helping him. So with this, we can conclude basically that if you are blind somehow, but with research, you can just give a new eye to that person. And this is not a literally eye. Basically, it is seeing through the tongue. And it's a completely, I mean, very different topic, and it blowed my mind about what research can have an impact. It's a really journey which gives you a satisfying moment, definitely. Okay, and why I started with this story is because this is how that we should think, actually doing something where which nobody has done, and which gives satisfaction of having helped somebody in his life, right? So this is how your objective of research should be. So what is research? Research is controlled, research is rigorous, research is systematic, research should be valid and verifiable, research is empirical, and research is critical basically. Okay. So there can be explanations of this each and every characteristic of research. But since I will be just focusing on writing and reporting, all of these controlled, rigorous, systematic, valid, verifiable, empirical, and critical. All these words are important when you are reporting your research, or you are submitting your research proposal to certain agency such as AICT or BRNS or DBT or DST or DIT, any agency for funds, right? Or even universities, right? So because I know that many universities allow faculty in their jurisdiction to get funds through the research. Okay, so these things, right? Control, rigorous, systematic, valid and verifiable, empirical, and critical are very important aspects which will come again and again during our discussions of this research. Okay. Then what is research? Research is not just information gathering. Okay. It's very important to understand that research is just not information gathering. It's not just collection of facts, right? Many people think that research is just do certain survey, and after that survey you just have to collect it in some form of tables and graphs, and just report that, and just that's it, the research is finished. No, research is not something like this, right? Research is beyond just collection of data. Secondly, research is not just transportation of facts. What does it mean? It means that somebody has, say, collected the data, somebody has already published it with certain aspects, with certain thoughts, certain insights, certain discussions and conclusions. We'll see all these parts of research proposal and research writing also. But these things somebody has already done with some aspect, and you are doing the same thing, but just transporting the fact from one domain to the other domain, then that is also not research. Just to make my point clearer, just see this cartoon. Okay, so the first half of this cartoon is, you may relate this, forget about this high impact paper and everything, but you may relate this to one very famous personality in history of science and technology. Can somebody tell me? I mean, I would like to have a dialogue rather than a unilateral discussion or a monologue. So which scientist you just get? Anybody? I mean, because I don't have my second machine. Newton, yeah, somebody has written already. Newton, that's good, right? So Newton, as everybody says, that Newton has discovered law of gravity by looking at apple. Okay, so apple just fell in front of him, and he has written law of gravity. And if someone like me then write a research paper that oranges also fall due to the law of gravity, okay, then this is just a transportation of fact, nothing else, right? So this is how, I mean, this somebody may say that, see sir, I have discovered new thing, because oranges also fall. He talked about apples, I am talking about oranges, so my paper also should be published, right? No, this is just a transportation of fact. The similar thing, actually, I can tell, I can go on giving examples, but similar thing I can tell about is, like, for example, somebody has done algorithm in C language, right? And had certain result. And some other researcher has thought that let's use Python to get the same result. Okay. So is it a research? Certainly not. It's just again transportation of the fact. It's not the result. What you have done basically, you have changed the language of a high level language of the machine, nothing else, right? The algorithm remains same, the data remains same, correct? You are not discovering certain new things, you are not looking at new aspects, then that is also not a research. Same thing again, that if you are discovering some, you are doing research on certain data set, and let us say it is, just for the sake of example, it's American data set, and what you have done, you have done Indian data set, similar data set, and did do the research and verify the same fact, then that is also not research, right? So if you are just validating that, it's just a validation of research, right? But you have not done something extra, right? So unless you have new insight to the finding, you cannot say that you have done research. Okay, so it's not just transportation of fact, it's very important to understand. So there are some qualities of high research, high quality research, right? Qualities of this high quality research. This good research requires the scope and limitations of the work to be clearly defined. Now, why I am taking so much time here initially, because all this will come in our writings. Okay, So scope and limitations of the work should be clearly defined. The process to be clearly explained so that it can be reproduced and verified by some other researchers. And it is thoroughly planned design that is as objective as possible. Okay. So I'll repeat, the scope and limitations of the work is to be clearly defined. The process must be clearly explained so that it can be reproduced and verified by other researchers, and it should be thoroughly planned design that is as objective as possible. It also has some other qualities like all the limitations must be documented. So whatever you are doing, whatever you are reporting, right, you should report with the limitations. So whatever limitations it has, they are very important, right? So so that the person who is trying to find out what you have done should be able to done precisely. Then data should be adequately analyzed and explained, and all the findings should be presented unambiguously, and all the conclusions be justified by sufficient evidence, right? So it's also important that you should be unambiguous in writing and findings and writing all these things. And not only that, you should be giving sufficient evidence during your logical arguments. So highly ethical standards also should be applied. And this word is not just to be included just like ethics, because you know that it's very important to find follow the ethics in scientific reporting, because maybe certain lives, and many lives, rather millions of lives, will depend on your research if it is means so important. For example, the impact factor journals are related to virology, right? So I know that everybody has gone through the bad phase of COVID, and we know that how the virus affects the entire humanity. So if let us assume that if somebody is writing fake articles and fake journal papers and fake research of COVID virus, then obviously it will have impact on the humanity as a whole, right? So once the paper is published, or once the research is published, once the PhD thesis is published, once the writings or findings of research proposal are published, then the scientific community believes in it. Rather, this is very important that the belief of the community should be uh, highest, I mean, in your mind, right? So highly ethical standards must be applied when you do research and when you report research also. Okay. So let's start with a very simple things of research proposal, and you can intervene and ask questions in between if you want, because my chat will be just I mean, I will be just opening some of the chat sometime only. Okay. So not all the time. So, or if you can give me some time, I will just join on my mobile phone also. But during discussion, I will do it. Okay. So, so before writing a research proposal, okay, and before writing, say anything like a research paper, okay. So let's first have something of what is writer basically, okay. So what is a writer? Writer is someone who writes something, isn't it? It's as simple as that. But writing a research proposal, and finally later, after research proposal, you will, let us assume you get funds and you do certain research and you are writing a research paper. Finally, you are again writer, isn't it? So before writing a research proposal and after for writing research paper also, you are a writer. So what are the attributes of a good writer? The good writer again is must present a well written and focused solution to a problem. and it also is a logical progression. So that is what I told you earlier, right? So those words will come again and again. Okay. So the words are not only well written, the words should be towards solving something, some problem, and you must have a logical progression to that particular conclusion. So take again the case example of that brainport device, right? So although we do not have a well written document there, because I am not having that document with me, so that document is not there. But what about solution to that problem? The solution to that problem is obviously well focused, because the focus was giving a new eye, for example, to that blind man Eric, right? So whatever they have done, they have given a new eye to that blind man. How? With some solution, right? Some kind of solution which they have thought, isn't it? So it's a logical progression. It is much easier said than done, and finding the focus is often the most difficult piece of this puzzle, because you are already traveling into the unknown. So you don't know, you are already into the unknown, and not only that, you are writing what you might get as a result. So it's totally, as you can say, shooting in the dark kind of thing. So once you say that it is shooting in the dark, then it's very difficult that what should be my way of writing a research proposal, isn't it? So basically, when you do writing of a research proposal, it's not one time you write that research proposal. Okay. So it's not writing basically, but it's rewriting something. Okay. It's rewriting something. But before coming to this, so what you must think as a writer is that you should have concentration on continuity of the thoughts, right? And each sentence, each paragraph must lead to what is next. And not only that, the reader, now in this case, if it is let us think about only a research proposal. So the reader of the research proposal, which is your evaluator, right? Let's assume you take a role of your evaluator, the research proposal evaluator. So what that evaluator is thinking at the to just assessing your research proposal. So what he will do, that does the reader have to ask why you are suddenly talking about this, right? There must be some logical things. Then writing also requires meeting the reader's expectations, right? Because you must know your audience well. Okay. And not only that, you should become predictable without becoming predictable and thus boring. If you are writing which is very simple, like sun rises from the east, right? So then the reader doesn't get enthused, right? So each paragraph should do what the reader expects, but do it in a way that is unexpected, because you are also telling the reader that this is my new work, or this work I am going to do, right, in my research. So some part of expectation has to be there, but it should be again unexpected, right? It should be unknown. So the evaluator must also think. Now I'm talking only about research proposal here. Okay. So the evaluator of the research proposal, okay, is also thinking that whether I should pass this research proposal for grant, or I should not pass this research proposal. Okay. So that is what the evaluator is thinking, isn't it? So, so you must have continuity, right? And when writing research proposal as well as research paper, less is more. You cannot include everything. For example, you are writing just 2 or 3 or at the most 4 research papers out of your 3 to 4 years of work of your PhD, for example, if you are doing PhD. So you cannot write each and everything what you have done in research paper, right? So less is more. And not only that, you must also be very particular about the tense, voice, sentences, verbs, etc. Right? So the English part of it or the communication part of it must be very important. And what is the meaning of this not writing but rewriting? But basically it is you are not somebody who are doing it new, right? So let's take example of say computer vision. So in computer vision you have not discovered that this new area of computer vision, so you are not writing it for the first time, right? So somebody has already done some part, correct? So you are just contributing something, right? Which is augmentation of the fact. So that's why it is rewriting and not just writing. Okay. I think I'll skip this part and get the formulation of the research problem directly. So, so what is a research proposal? Research proposal is basically a document which you submit to certain agency for funds. Okay, so let's keep one particular agency in our mind for discussion of this particular thing. So let us say I want to write a research proposal to AICT for research promotion scheme, which is in general called as RPS. Okay, and I want to do certain, for example, I am doing right now research which is related to EEG, and I am taking brain signals via EEG uh, for two sets of students, one who do meditation and the one who don't do a certain kind of meditation. And I want to compare the EEG of those students, okay, two groups rather, to find out what are the effects of meditation on the EEG signals. And later on, further, I want to delve into whether there are some improvements in their say IQ. I cannot say directly, but their say problem solving, correct? So whether they are better problem solving, whether they are more say calm for a new unexpected problem in front of them, like that, right? Certain attributes of either mathematical side or emotional quotient side. So that is my say, let us say, overall thinking in my mind, and I want to do I want to formulate a research problem. So what should I do? So what are the tasks in on my hand? First I must go to the literature review. Okay, that what does everybody knows what is literature review, but what is literature review is that first I must also find out who has done this so far. Okay, and not only that, how much they have done already, because if I am doing something which somebody has already done, then what is the use of my doing it, correct? And obviously the AICT will just reject my research proposal. Not only that, okay, so I must find out that what people are doing and what they have done already. Secondly, then after going through the literature, I must formulate my research problem. Okay. So what is a research problem? I have a broad idea in my mind that what is my research problem, but that may be very vague. Correct. I may not be thinking in correct direction, because unless I read what people have done and unless I have some conclusion, unless I go through conclusions what they have already done, I cannot find whether my way of thinking is correct or not correct, right? I may be correct because I am delving into unknown, right? Because I don't know that I don't know, right? But I just want to know that I don't know this, so I just want to enter into that particular area. It may be correct, it may be not correct. That's my hypothesis, right? But that hypothesis also should be well defined. That's why while defining the research problem, I must identify which are the variables, right? So, I mean, what is the data I should take, then what are the things I should look for, how to correlate the things, right? I mean, brain is such a device, not device rather, brain is such a organ which very few people know about this, right? So, I mean, even literally, I mean, everybody says that we just know even less than 5% of what the brain is, right? So I am delving into such an area where nobody knows more things, right? But whatever it is, I should identify some of the things based on what researchers have done already. Correct. And that's where this literature review is a very, very important thing. Okay. Which will come again and again later. And then I will construct my hypothesis, right? So I want to find out the effect of meditation. But I will not have to write just finding out effect of meditation on say the students, right? I must also find out with some hypothesis in my mind, right? So yes, it improves the emotional quotient of the student, or it improves the problem solving ability of the student, or the same kind of problem, right, if given, they will solve in less time. Okay. So that kind of hypothesis I must build, and I must write that hypothesis so that my research is towards finding out whether that hypothesis is correct or not correct. Okay. So it's a challenging task basically. Okay. So all these things are very, very challenging because you know that research question, finding out research question is very, very difficult. I mean, there are so many questions which go in our mind. For example, what problems exist, then what don't we know, we are looking for dark places, right? What interest you are having, right? What interest you are having, whether it suits to your career or not, right? So what expertise is available for your thing. Then how much time I am having, correct? Means I mean there are so many things, all these questions are there. So finally you must formulate some hypothesis, right, with some possible outcomes, because unless you have hypothesis with certain possible outcome written, right, so you cannot proceed for research. And it doesn't mean, rather, right, I must warn everybody here that it doesn't mean that you should try to solve that problem in that way only, that you should always prove your hypothesis. No, I mean, research can be also to disprove hypothesis, right? So it can be correct, it cannot be correct. Correct. It may not be correct, rather, right? So it's a statement whether the validity is, because it is validity is unknown. You are doing something, correct? The validity is usually unknown, but you are thinking that it would be like this. So it's an anticipation, right? It's just a possible outcome. Okay, you may be right, you may be wrong, you may be partially correct, you may be partially wrong. So this research problem is must here. Okay. So, and you must also have your plan of research then, right? So basically, uh, what AICT expects is that within 2 years or within 3 year time frame, you should not only procure your equipment or material or any other thing which you are planning for your research, and not only you procure all those equipment, you start your research, you collect your data, you should do your research work, and you should publish your papers also within the time frame, right? Then possibly apply for patent, and possibly go for even a startup, right? I mean, if your research leads to certain prototype which is say marketable and you can have business out of it, you can always go for it, right? So with this thing in my mind, in your mind, you have to plan the entire thing for the research, and you must also give timeline in your research proposal. Okay, so it is basically shows the strength of your proposed research, right? So you should stand, again, one more important thing here, that you should be stand out of the rest, right? I mean, there is always crowd, right? But you should not be part of that crowd, and you should always have something new, so that the you get attention, right? So everybody is like X, but you are like O, right? So then only your proposal will get sanctioned, otherwise it is very difficult. Everybody looks like same. So it basically, research proposal contains one page introduction of your topic, and it depends on the format, obviously, but I am just having a fictitious format in my mind. So the one page introduction can be 2 page also, or can be half page also. Earlier, when we wrote research proposals to AICT, it was just, I mean, you can just type in 4 or 5 pages also as an introduction. But let's say only one page here I have given for just for the sake of discussion. Okay, just for the sake of discussion. And then after that what is this introduction? Basically, this introduction is just going into the topic, right? So what is the general topic? Then outline of your literature review, because why you have selected that problem is very important. So just after introduction, you should follow the outline of your literature review, and what are the lacunas, or what are the open problems of what people have already done. And then correlate this to show your how your study is aimed at evaluation of something new, right? So then go for your specific aims and objectives. And these objectives, as we can say, these are your hypothesis basically. But there can be multiple objectives also of your research, which you can note it down. And then how you are going to do it, methodology, correct? So participants, for example, if the example which I have given, uh, effect of meditation on students, right? So which group of students I should select, etc., etc. So then how I am going to collect the data, then everything related to the data. I'll come back to the data once again later. Then what analysis I am going to do, and then obviously ethical considerations. Okay, because it involves human. So, and even if it involves animals, ethical considerations are there. And then finally, as I discussed, timeline. So in 2 or 3 year timeline, how you are going to do it. And always time is ticking, right? So please uh, write it very wisely. You can use your what it is called as PERT charts. Okay, so you can always do that, or you can write it in the simple tables also. And then finances involved, if any, because if you are submitting it to certain agency like AICT, obviously you should write all those finances which you are expecting from AICT, that they should fund you. Just one more very important tip here, that you should also include, I mean, you can also include what already you are having. For example, you always you need not get machines or desktops or laptops from AICT, correct, or any other agency. What you can say, that I already have laptop, I already have desktops. What you give me is EEG machine, because that is very costly and it is very difficult to get that money, right? And these EEG machines range from a simple EEG machine can be say 1.5 lakh rupees, then it may go even up to 40 to 60 lakh rupees also. So depends on how much quality of EEG, and how you are going to collect the data, and how extensively you are going to use it. So you can think of EEG machine like that, and not only EEG machine, the other consumables, and your travel expenses, anything which is related for the research. Okay. So all those finances you can write in that research, and then finally references. So I'll come back again, references. Most of these things are again similar to what a research paper is, correct? But with the exception that after the methodology, the actual analysis results and conclusions are not written. So I repeat, the research proposal is basically nothing but writing a research paper, correct, without the actual analysis, results, conclusions, correct, and obviously without finances involved, right? Otherwise, a research proposal is just similar to writing a research proposal is just similar to writing a research paper. So I will focus more on research paper, right? So this I think I will skip for the want of time, because already it is 3:15. Okay. So what information should be included, etc. It will come again in writing research paper. So I'll come back to this sometime later once again. Okay. So in literature, or I will just skip on. So what information should be included in this? So obviously you start the topic, right? And go on developing that topic till a point where you are writing, which is known as a literature review. So in literature review also, how to write, etc. There are many things, right? So which I will tell during the writing of research paper. Okay. And then basically, so I will just skip this and go to one literature review kind of very bad example, rather, that you during the part of literature review, you should never look for such kind of papers, right? So this is strictly no, strictly no. Okay. What I will try to do is just give me a couple of seconds. I'll just open this PDF because I have not linked this, unfortunately. So just give me a couple of seconds. I'll share it once again after opening it. In the meantime, I mean, if there are some questions, I can very well answer those questions. Anybody? Any question? No question? No question, no problem. That is what happens with online mode.
If anyone having question, you can add your questions in chat box. Thank
Okay. So this is the paper which I have said strictly no. Correct. So without, I mean, having any biases towards who has written paper, from where they are, which state. I am not having any biases in my mind. Okay. But just I searched something related to, say, biometrics. Okay. And the Google gave me this search, recent advances in emerging biometrics. Okay. So one expects that this is a review paper. Okay. And since it is a review paper, okay, and you know that this shows me recent advances, although this is for February 2013, long way back I searched this. So recent advances in emerging biometrics. So I expected that these papers should deal with some biometrics papers, recent biometric papers, isn't it? And it's a review paper, right? So review papers are normally very good for literature survey, initial literature survey. Okay, but I found out that this paper is of only 6 pages, right? So as you can see here, so this is page 1, this is page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6. And page 6 is references and authors, and page 1 is here somewhere. Okay. So 5 page paper, review paper, and that too who has written it? Again, without any bias, C. Shesharatnam, C. Raja, G. Ramesh, Vinod Kumar, and Jyotsna of Sri Rama Engineering College, Tirupati. So think of a person residing in, say, France or Japan or Ethiopia. Who knows where is Tirupati, right? So nobody knows where is Tirupati, isn't it? So from where is the Sri Rama Engineering College? Which are the affiliations of these people? What they are doing? Nothing else. But then I have seen at the end that the authors are written. Okay, so chalo. Let's get first see how what are the authors, right? So it shows C. Shesharatnam received MCA from Madras University. Raja received MCA. So they are already MCA. Ramesh received MCA. Jyotsna received BTech, and Jyotsna received BTech. So to me, it looks like, again, without looking at, I am not biased here, but this is a very bad example of how to write reference, a review paper, and why not to take this as a reference. Okay. So as you can see, so these are possibly 3 faculty members, possibly, because they all are MCA and MTech, right? And these are BTech students. Okay. So if it is so, if these students are really, I mean, MTech and BTech, BTech students writing a review paper in International Journal of blah blah blah. Okay. And let's check what they have written. Okay. So abstract, right? I'll come back to each and every topic sometime later once again. History of biometrics, and then how biometric technology works. So there is no figure on page 1, just some text, screening. Yeah, there is one figure here somewhere, but which is not marked, right? I mean, this figure number 1, etc., nothing is written here. So just, I don't know, then what is this figure indicating? I mean, so there is no title for this figure also. So what this figure is doing, they are explaining, really don't know. And if I search pig here, so I get who will figure here. There is only word figure here once, and that too is not in the context of figure. It is who will figure out, how to circumvent it. So there is no mention of figure number. There is no reference of that figure. Okay. Nothing is written anywhere about this figure. So what they have done is just, I mean, as you can see, section number 2 is written, which is biometric recognition already used or proposed. And then the same story repeats here. There is no literature review here, basically. And then finally, they have written here somewhere recent advances in emerging biometrics. Okay. And again, there is no, I mean, reference here. Then security, they have written a future of foolproof biometrics. End of this, right? So markets and trends, some surveys and conclusion. It is probably not only my opinion that further development of biotechnological study. And who is this? My opinion. There are authors rather, isn't it? So there is not a single author here. There are multiple authors. So whose opinion is this? These technologies, just see the grammar, these technologies can be surely not only used for making life easier, but also for more perfect invigilation. This will be surely not hinder the development of these techniques again. So it's bad, 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 everywhere bad. And what about references? Please find out this paper is written, accepted rather, in published in 2013. And what are references? None of the references are recent. 2003, 2004, 2002, 2006, 2009, and that too only 6. And one is survey, the other is, I think, industrial, one is future of biometrics, and only 3 papers as such. And I don't know whether they are journals or conferences. This is IEEE transaction paper, this is conference paper. So this is, I mean, the one of the most bad way of using for literature review. Okay, so if there is some bad, there must be some good also, isn't it? So let's share the good one. Okay, so this is bad and this is good, rather, I mean, okay, good, current trends in multilingual speech processing. Okay, and who has written it? So I will just show this, just give me a couple of seconds. Okay, again, without going into the biasing part of it, please remember the earlier journal, it had written international journal something. Okay, the journal is written as international journal of something, international journal. Okay, but this good paper is just sadhana. Okay, Indian Academy of Sciences. So it is not writing there itself as national journal or international journal, just sadhana. But it is volume 36, part 5. And this is volume 2, issue 1. That means this is probably the second year of publication of this journal. But this sadhana, volume 36 means at least, I mean, 36-year-old if it is yearly. Okay. So, and see the number of pages, 885 to 915. So 31 pages. Okay, 31 pages. And if I just scroll through those pages, you can see these are 31 pages, and out of which obviously some of them must be references. So this is last page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pages of references only. Okay, and since they have not numbered the references, they have sorted it alphabetically. Okay, so they have sorted these references alphabetically. Okay, so 5 pages of references, on one page there must be more than 50. Okay, so you can see, just imagine that around 200, at least 200, I mean, references are there. Okay, so this is how, I mean, you should select a review paper for your literature survey first initially. Okay, so this is it, right? And who has written the paper? Basically, they have given everything there. Switzerland. Okay, so although the journal is Indian journal, foreign people, I mean, European researchers have published paper in it. Okay, so again, for the lack of time, I will just skip through this. Okay, and basically, because each and every topic uh, can have discussions running in hours, right? So just to scroll through paper, I mean, there's multilingual speech processing. As you can see, once they have introduced this, immediately its acronym is written, MLSP. Okay. In the abstract also, the first acronym is already there, right? So text to speech synthesis, which is TTS, right? So that is the way to identify, I mean, a good quality research paper. And again, I'll not be going through each and every topic here, but selection of this references is very, very important thing for anything. Although, and as you can see, the figures, right? So the figures are well maintained, and not only that, everywhere figure 1 with title is written, and not only that, somewhere it must have been written that refer to this figure. Okay, so if you just say figure, somewhere it must be written. Okay, figure 1 illustrates, right? So figure 1 illustrates typical HMM based ASR system for English language. So that is how the figure 1 is introduced. And then there are some footnotes also everywhere. So this is how you should, I mean, go for this literature review, because this literature review is very important, and the quality of your research proposal or the quality of your research, and finally the quality of your research paper is finally important, because you must get recognition out of it, isn't it? You are doing it for your own recognition, so you should get satisfaction, isn't it? So don't do this, but do this, right? So it's very important to understand. Okay. Then aims and objectives again has what information should be included. This will again is very important, a kind of hypothesis. And your objectives are your goals of your study. There can be multiple objectives, one main objective and other sub objectives, but they must be clear, complete, and specific. So these words are again very important in writing research proposal as well as research paper. Then in data, I mean, data gathering, what information should be included? Obviously, what data analysis will be done, what are the methods you are choosing, why you are choosing, how can this analysis answer your questions, all these things will come. And then ethical considerations. Okay. So these are some of the things which I will skip right now, but you can later, I am sharing this presentation with you. Okay. So with this, let's assume that you have written a research proposal, AICT to AICT, AICT has sanctioned it, you are doing research, and then now it's time to write a good research paper. So you must go to the same fact again and again, but here now for writing a good research paper, again you should know which are the components of a research paper, good research paper, right? So what is the purpose of writing a scientific paper basically? The purpose is to communicate, right? Nothing else. Means what you have done, whether what good you have done, what better you have done, what new you have done. Correct. So it's just contribution to the advancement of the knowledge, right? So first you want to communicate, and second you want to contribute to the advancement of the knowledge. You must you have found out something unknown, right? And with that unknown, you are going ahead now to tell the world that yes, I have done it, yes, I am doing it. Because you if you say I have done it, then nobody else will do it again, right? So you have done it, part of that you have done it, but obviously there are some other unknowns which somebody else will find it out. Okay. So what are the types of papers? So here I have broadly categorized into 5 types. Okay. So starting from survey paper, okay, bottom up here. Okay, so this is bottom up I am telling. So this is a basic level paper, but I basically personally don't call this as a basic level, although many PhD guides wants their students or researchers, PhD research scholars to write survey paper first. But I have a different opinion, a differing opinion rather, that a research student should not write a review paper or a survey paper, right? For the simple reason that what is the difference between the two papers which I have shown to you? That a review paper or a survey paper should be written only when you are authority in that area. Okay, because you not only just collect the facts, report the facts, what many people have done, but then put your own remarks and give future directions to the area. Okay, but still that you can call it as a survey or a review of a specialized subject. Okay, and it brings together, sorry, it brings together the disparate work, because everybody is doing in their own silos, right? So somebody working like me at Nanded or at Jalgaon is doing on EEG meditation. Somebody at IIT Bombay must be doing it. Somebody at MIT USA must be doing it. Somebody in Switzerland must be doing it. And since our research groups are different, our thoughts are different, our objectives are different, our funds are different, so we are having a different research objectives, and therefore we are having disparate work. But what a survey paper should do or a review paper should do, that I should collect and collate all the facts and finally connect those dots, right? So connection of those dots is very important in writing a review paper, and that's why it brings together the disparate work. So if somebody new wants to start research in that area, for example, what are the effects of meditation on EEG? So if I am writing a paper, review paper, then I should collect variety of research papers going in that area, and then I should collect that work and then finally write my comment on it or our comment. If it is more than one authors, then we should write our comments in that. And believe me, if you want recognition of your own thought, right? You have thought something new. Although you are writing, say you are a group of 3 people, you are writing a review paper, and you have given some very novel idea which the other 2 people acknowledge it, and they say that, "Ki Suhas, this idea should go on your name." So I can write it in my name there in my research paper. Yeah, I have seen such research papers also, where it is written that this idea or this particular thought was proposed by this particular author number 1 or author number 2, right? So that is your credit, that you are putting that fact. Not only that, I have also seen research papers where there is, I mean, I will tell that, I would have told that later, but again, going back to the example of, say, here, okay. So let's say these are the 3 people, 3 or 5, right? Say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 people, if I am correct. Okay, so forget about it. 9 people who are authors here, and if say there is a friendly quarrel between these two. Okay, that, so why should your name be first? My name should be first. Okay, he will also say, no, no, my name should be first. And finally, if they both agree that our contribution is equal, if they both agree that our contribution is equal, I have seen research papers where there is some kind of, say, like star is written there, and a footnote is written that the contribution of these two people are equal. Contribution of these two people are equal. So there is no question of stealing the credit, correct? So that is what is called as fairness and ethical standards. Okay. So here also, I mean, it's very important to write your own view or your own views as a group in your review paper. Okay, forget about it. Then secondly, second type of papers are progress papers. So often, I mean, you are doing some work and you have got some new aspect, correct? So you want to just report it. So it can be a typical conference paper, or it can be a journal paper if the results are strong results, right? So where, I mean, a good quality journal can publish it. The third type of paper in the up in the ladder are invention papers. I mean, these are clever variations or innovations that are appealing in their elegance. I mean, they stand out from the rest basically. Okay, so you can call that they kind of, I mean, are a new branch in the same tree. Okay, so a new branch, or there is a big trunk of the tree. There are a lot of branches, and you are opening a new branch slowly. Okay, slowly you are opening a new branch, kind of thing, where you are the first in that particular area. And groundbreaking up in the ladder is it opens up a field or area that is not well explored. Okay, and you are kind of, say, founding father for that particular area. So that particular that paper is called as a groundbreaking paper. Okay, it's a foundation paper, it's a reference paper probably, which will get references in Google, kind of, say, references, say more than 10,000, more than 20,000 very easily. Okay, all other researchers will quote your paper in their reference, maybe a kind of that groundbreaking thing which you are doing. And finally, a breakthrough paper, that means you are solving an open problem that many people are working on, which is very rare, right? So if you are lucky, you will get it because you have solved it first. It's like that. Okay. So what is needed to write a good research paper? That when you should write a research paper, basically, either if you want to share something and you have enough to share, is very important. Not only you have something, you should have something important, and you should have something important enough to share with others. So all these words are their own, I mean, importance, right? Something important and something enough. So all these three words are having their own importance. Okay, you must have something, you must have something important, and you must have something important enough. Okay, and not only that, finally, I mean you can also finally, once you have completed your research milestones, you have completed your objectives, you can finally, you are writing, for example, thesis. So clear out that. So these are called as some mature results. Okay, why you should not write a paper, when you should not write paper, right? So obviously these are some of the wrong reasons, that just because you want or need publication, or increase the publication count, or you have you want fame, that I have written 200 research papers. Okay, uh, quality I don't know, quantity I want. So quantity versus quality issues are there always, right? So if you are after quantity, just go on publishing, but then these are the wrong reasons, right? that you should publish papers. And you are writing because everybody else is writing, peer pressure. Okay. And finally, you want to go to a conference, again, without any bias in my mind. But if I want to go to Singapore or Thailand or Malaysia or Sri Lanka or Andaman and Nicobar or Lakshadweep or Kashmir, and because I want to go there, university is going to fund me, or I have a research grant where I can travel. So I want to write a paper. So that's a bad way of writing a research paper, basically. Wrong reasons, rather. And please remember, bad papers will reflect badly on you always, because you are father of that your paper, father or mother, because there are ladies in this audience also. So you should be always proud of your paper. So if you are not proud of your baby, okay, you are not a good parent, isn't it? So you should have always, you should be always proud of your paper. And just consider how that if a lady goes through the labor pain of 9 months and finally the cruciating pain of giving birth, right? Because that is the most crucial aspect of life, giving birth to a baby. And kudos to these 50%, half of the population, right? That they go through such pain there to create a new life, right? So same must apply for your research paper, that you should have, say, 9 months of labor pain, not 9 months exactly, but similar kind of pain. And finally, for publishing it, giving birth to your paper, the same feeling you should have, that if this baby should be, I should be always proud of my baby. Okay. So the structure of a research paper is very simple, rather. And many people call it as IMRAD format, IMRAD or IMRAD format. Okay, IMRAD format. Okay, so what is IMRAD format? That is the crux of the format. So it's introduction, methods or methodology, results, and discussion. Okay. So discussion, I mean the discussion leading to conclusions. Okay. So basically, that format is in general called as IMRAD format. And just to come before introduction, there is a title, obviously. Then there is abstract or summary. Then the main part, body part, and then there are conclusions and references. So these are a very standard way of writing a paper. Okay, these are the things, a structure. A good quality research paper must have all these components, except the survey paper, where in the survey paper the methods, results, and discussions are not particular to a simple area, but the combination of methods, results, and discussions will be always there. That how many other people have done which kind of methodology, which kind of results they have got, which kind of discussions they have got, etc., etc., etc. So each of these things are as important as the whole research paper, because these are the parts uh, of a good research paper. So finally, the whole research paper must look good. So individual parts must also look good. Okay. So what is the title? The title should be clearly describing the subject of your paper, right? Must be clearly describing. So it should not be a vague title, a very vague title. Okay. For example, title like recognizing handwritten text. It's a very bad way of writing a title, recognizing handwritten text. So which handwritten, which language, okay, by which method, who is recognizing, right? Nothing is mentioned here, right? Similarly, there is another title, detente, practical support for practical action. That first I have to go and find out what is the meaning of detente, right? So that is, I think, if I remember correctly, it is related to kind of truce between two parties, to different fractions like that. Okay, forget about it. I'll just narrate our sad story rather, at IITB, uh, of this title. Okay, so before I went to IIT Delhi for research in biomedical engineering, I was a research hopeful, right? PhD research hopeful, and I was hoping that I should get admission to premier institutes like IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Madras, IISc Bangalore, for my PhD. And since 1992, rather, or 1991, we at HGGS Nanded were doing research related to, I was helping to Professor Manthalkar there, who was doing his MTech based on ECG analysis. And I am talking about 1991, 92. You can imagine, I mean, there were only MS-DOS based PCs, and I mean, even data acquisition was very difficult at that time. But we did something, right? So our group did something. We published one IEEE conference paper in 1995 at IIT Delhi, and we wrote title there as PC based ECG interpreter. PC based ECG interpreter. That was the title of our conference paper, which was published. It's still available in IEEE Explorer. Okay. And after that also we have written 2, 3 papers, good quality papers in good Indian conferences also, and international conference also. And finally, I went to one of the professor. I will not name the professor at IIT Bombay, and sought his appointment, sat outside his cabin. When my number came, I went to him and showed our papers to him. That, sir, already I am doing something our group is doing, and please consider me whenever I come here for interview. You can, I mean, just keep my uh, research in my mind, in your mind rather. Okay. So he looked at the paper and he said to me, so I should stop doing research, isn't it? I said, why, sir? No, you have already done ECG, right? You said PC based ECG interpreter. So you have done it already. So I should stop doing research in ECG. Then I remember, I suddenly realized how important it is to write a title, isn't it? Because how the other person is interpreting that title. He was a professor at IIT Bombay. He was looking at it with certain different angle, and he said that now I should stop working because Manthalkar and Gazre has already done PC based ECG interpreter. So nothing else is there. I know he was being sarcastic, definitely. So I said sorry to him. I said that, see, at Nanded, at remote location like Nanded, at that time, I mean, even phone was very difficult at that time, isn't it? 90s. So we don't get proper guidance, and from now onwards, we will be keeping your advice in our mind, right? So title is very important, very important, right? It should be catchy, but not at the cost of clarity. Okay, it's very important. So not at the cost of clarity. Fine. Then there will be abstract, and abstract is actually the paper, completely self-contained, because it should have almost, I mean, almost everything. Okay, except the references and complete methodology and etc. But it's a summary of your kind of result where you are highlighting and it's a kind of say trailer to your paper. Correct. So if I take example from the movie business, so trailer देख के हम decide करते हैं कि whether we should watch that movie or not. So similarly abstract पढ़ के हमें decide करना पड़ेगा. So we should we should read abstract, and then finally we decide whether we want to watch that movie or not, like that, right? I mean paper. Okay. So it's a very brief work about the main points and findings about your paper, right? So whether this paper is useful or not, right, depends on the abstract, right? Not only that, आप you also, I mean, sorry for using Hindi, but whenever you are doing, if you are new to this research field, let me give you advice here, that you first develop a habit of reading only abstracts. Okay. Because if abstract interests you, then probably the paper might interest you, right? There is no guarantee that by reading abstract you will be uh, uh, you will be also reading the whole paper. It's not guarantee, but at least by reading abstract you can also decide why you should not read that paper, because there is nothing probably related to your area, isn't it? So if it is useful, then only read the entire paper. If I am telling this to you, this applies to your paper also. Okay. So if I am giving this advice to you, this applies to your paper also. So your abstract, the abstract of your paper should be such that the other people should be, I mean, getting an idea whether they should read your complete paper or not. Okay. Then comes introduction part. So what is introduction? Introduction, that you are telling what is the topic of paper in general and why the topic is important. Basically, why are you doing this? Correct. Whatever you are doing, not only you are doing, you have done it, therefore you are reporting it, and you are reporting it assuming that somebody will read it. So why should I read it? So that is what should be written in introduction part. Please again keep this in your mind. Introduction should not again start from day one of the research. For example, if it is related to say ECG, so I should not start history of ECG. Correct. It's not needed. Please understand that your papers are written with an audience in your mind. And what is that audience? The audience is a technical audience. If you are writing your research paper in a journal or in a conference, obviously that is going to go in a particular group of the research papers. For example, if there is a separate track of ECG, then it will go to the ECG track. If there is a separate track of EEG, it will go to the EEG track. Okay. And if it is a separate track of only biomedical signals, it will be a ECG plus EEG. But whatever it may be, nobody is interested there in getting to the history of ECG or history of EEG. Correct. So you should always have this in your mind when writing your the whole research paper, which is your audience, right? So if you are starting from the history of who invented ECG, then how the heart looks like, how the heart is going, what is the functioning of heart which leads to the various ECG components. Nobody, I mean, is interested in that, because they are possibly reading your paper because in the Google search, and please don't search in Google, there is a separate site for this kind of search, scholar.google.com. Okay, I think you are aware of it, but I'm just immediately I got reminded of this, right? Scholar.google.com or Google Scholar, where you are searching something, and uh, you are just by just reading the title, you are attracted to that paper, and therefore you are reading that paper. So who will get attracted? A layman will not get attracted to that paper. And why should he read a research paper then? He will read some book or some interesting article about ECG, isn't it? So it's very important what to write. So what is the topic of paper in general terms, but not so general that you start it writing from the history. And why the topic is important? Because it's just arriving at certain thing, isn't it? And then in the introduction, you tell what to expect in the paper. So here comes the research proposal part. Okay. So now why are you writing the paper? Because you are either doing PhD or you are reporting your results, which are a part of your research. Okay. Funded research. So there you have written that what to expect in your research hypothesis. So here also you are writing what to expect in that paper in the introduction part. Okay. So it should funnel from the general ideas to the specific topic, and basically it's a kind of, uh, spiral way. Okay, from more general to more specific you should get, right? You should go from a more broader perspective to more specific perspective, particular topic. Okay. Or looking it at as a, say, a kind of a different picture. This is a broader perspective. Then probably you are looking at this and this, and in this part probably I am looking at this part, and again in that I am looking at this part, like that, and in that, so I am doing this part, like that. Okay. So same thing you should do in this, from a general idea to a specific topic you should go. Okay. So sometimes literature review is combined part of the introduction, depends on which journal, which conference, which thing which you do. So in literature survey, you are telling the reader that what have other researchers have discovered already, because you have found out some lacuna, okay, so some shortcomings, and therefore you have done something new. Okay. So without going through the all blah 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 here, I am just summarizing it, right? So you are doing something which are, the shortcomings of earlier researchers, so you are doing it. Okay. So this literature survey, please remember, has its own voice. It is not just like copied and pasted parts of the conclusions and or the abstract of other researchers, because I have seen so many bad introduction parts that they just do copy paste. Say Suhas Gazre has done this in this research paper. Okay. Then again XYZ has done this in this research paper. Again ABC has done this in this research paper. So it's not, just you are having a kind of copy paste thing, right? It's what you should do, that you should put your own facts and ideas, okay, in your own words, right? But just point out from where this information is coming, right? So it's a kind of a very complex job, and that is why I said writing a review paper is also very difficult, and writing an introduction part is also very difficult. Literature survey part is one of the most difficult part to write. Okay. So it should have the parenthetical citations running throughout. And what I showed example of a bad paper didn't have any referencing. Okay. So forget about citations. Okay. So these are a systematic way to document where the facts and ideas have come from, and where if I am not satisfied with your reporting it, yeah, I think that you are writing it something vague, unethical, then I should be able to find that paper somewhere, correct? So I should look it up, right? Anything, I mean, if you are writing certain facts, I should look that fact whether it is true or false. So I should be able to go to that particular paper, find out that paper, do certain things on my own, and then I will find it, right, whether it is correct or not correct. So writing a literature review is a very tough part, please remember. I mean, everything is tough in research, but this is also one of the toughest part. And then main body of the paper comes with three parts: methodology or methods, results, and discussions. Okay, and this each section should have your main points and everything written there, right? So what you should do basically, that you should find some shining stars in your field. मतलब ये जो सक्सेस के एग्जांपल्स होते हैं, exemplars means, right, exemplars means they are actually exemplars of success, something to be imitated. Good people, right, good people, how they have written good papers. Okay, just don't go after numbers, right? Good or bad, you find out whether that is good or bad. Just because one paper is referenced by say 1,000 other researchers, doesn't mean that that paper is good. Okay, it's just they want to publish, that's why they are doing it. Okay, forget it. Then uh, so methodology, results, and discussions, this is the crux of or heart of your research, right? So till this point, introduction and your objectives, okay, your objectives will come in introduction part only, because hypothesis part will come in introduction. Then this is how you are going to do it, but how you have done it, okay, in methodology, because already you have done it now. In introduction part, if you are writing something about your methodology, it should be in future tense. Tenses are very important in writing a research paper. So if it is, your methodology is coming in the introduction part, it will be in future tense, that we will do that, or this will be explored. Most of the time it will be in past participant, pp, right, uh, past participle, right? So that kind of thing which you should do. In methodology, it should be past tense always, because you have done that already and reporting it now. So it should be always in past tense. Everything should be in past tense. Results also, it should be always in past tense. Discussion, it may be past, present, and future tenses, depending upon how you are constructing your discussion. Okay, coming back to the methodology, basically what you are doing it, right? So it's a description of the data, description of the algorithms, procedures, description of the variables, right? Data, algorithms, procedure, variables, manipulations of variables, then reflection of adequacy and strength, or there must be, I mean, here itself you should indicate the limitations of data also. Okay, so limitations is a very very important thing, right? What you are omitted is very important. Okay, otherwise the other people might not be able to reproduce the same. So limitations are must here. So the techniques that will be used to test your hypothesis, everything must be written. So it's basically, it's everything which is getting you to the results, towards the results. Okay, this gets, anything which gets to your results, you must include it in your methodology section. Then comes results. Okay, so what are the
Sir,
results?
I have a
Yes,
question. Hello.
yes, please. Yes, please.
Sir, in initial introduction, you talked about ethics that should be written in methodology. Can you just brief on that, sir?
No, by ethics, I mean that you should be fair everywhere. Okay. That means
Okay, sir.
if for example, you are writing something, so right, which you want that everybody should other should imitate, right? So you must write it very
Got it, sir. Got
clearly,
it.
unambiguously, right? That this is what I am doing, and this is what I am not doing. So if you are hiding what you are not doing, okay, so that is bad ethics. Did you get it?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, sir. Yeah, got it, sir. Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you. So, uh, what are results then? Results are finding out of the analysis and assess whether your expectations were correct or not correct. Because you know, initially you had certain hypothesis, right? Initially you had certain hypothesis. I want to clear all drawings because somebody probably have drawn something here. Okay, fine. So those hypotheses, whether they are correct or not, you are now verifying. So therefore, it includes the tables, figures, any other thing, data which you have churned out during your methodology. And not only that, you should also describe it. Narrative describing is must. Otherwise, see the results in table 1 is not the way you should write. Okay, see the result in the chart gives this sorry, the figure 2 gives trends, is not the way you should write it in paper. You should write what are those trends. Okay, you should write what are those trends. Descriptive writing, narrative descripting is also very very important. Okay, so the narration part, many people try miss. They think that already table is given, then why to write? And on the contrary, writing each and everything given in table is not also important. Okay. For example, many people write that column 1 shows this, column 2 shows this, column 3 shows this, row 1 shows that, row 1 shows this. So that is not narration. Narration is something different. What exactly are the important findings chart or in that pie chart or in that whatever it may be, any description what you are doing as a results, right? So it's an art basically. It's very important to know this, right? It's an art of writing, what to write, how to write, etc. So what are results? Results are always precursor to discussions leading to your conclusions, because after results there is something which is called as discussion part. Okay, so what should be the role of figure results? It should assist the reader. Okay, ये आपने किया, so what you have done, right? So how the result should be interpreted, that should be mentioned as narration. So the tables must summarize the data, figures must be conceptual diagrams or system snapshots or flowcharts, graph charts, and everything should be legible, instructive, and adequately labeled and titled. It's very important to understand that. And you should always refer both in the text. There should be no figure or no table which is not there referred in the text, right? At least it should be there, like it is there in table 1 2 3, right? Table 1 2 3, etc., etc. Fine. And I have given some examples, but since the clock is ticking, right, I cannot explain each and everything, but there are some good examples of figures and tables I have given. Sorry. So the most important thing, as I just told, it should be in past tense only, because you have already done it. Okay, you have already done it, you're reporting it. Okay, and it should stand on their own. Just by looking at some of the figures, I should get some idea of what you are doing. I think I have included some of the figures separately also. Just let me check. So tabular results must be there, and should be no interpretation here, right? In the results section, it is not expected that you should put your own words there. I think that this is because of this. No, that is a part of discussion. Results means results. That's it. What have you got after doing your part? Plain facts. जैसे अगेन कमिंग बैक टू हिंदी, पॉइंट पे रहने का, इधर उधर नहीं जाने का, राइट? जस्ट stick to the facts. Okay, so yes, I have included those some of those figures. For example, here you can see it gives table 3, and what is the title of this table 3? Chi-square test for the distorted segregation of genotypes in maize based on AFLP markers. So the table number and description title is there. Whether it is at top or bottom is a different matter. Okay, so forget about at top here. This is not necessary at top. Okay, so it can be at bottom also, depending upon paper. It should be descriptive. Okay, and then headings also state whatever is needed. They should have certain columns. Then see there are 1 star, 2 star, all those things, right? And whatever are these markings are written here, explanation. Okay, all the explanations are written here. So it's a one of the very good quality table. Okay, so everywhere you can see, then they are aligned, they are properly, I mean, centrally aligned. Okay, and whenever they are needed, they are marked also. Okay, so this is one of the very good quality table. This is another one of the good quality tables. The regression model linking number of pregnancies to telomere length. Models 1 to 4 are showing this. Okay, and everywhere, wherever as you, many of you are researchers, this P is very important, right? So what is P? Anybody? Why P is less than 0.001 here, 0.01 here, 0.05 here, less than 0.1 here? And which is the best P here out of all those? The question to audience. Which is best P? So these are 4 P's here. Just to wake you up. So which is the best P? P number what? Yes, somebody has written, Chandra. Okay, madam has written that P is a level of confidence, right? Level of significance.
Level of significance.
Confidence interval, right? Basically, it deals with confidence intervals in hypothesis testing. And somebody has written 4, somebody has written 2. Which P is the best? Fourth P is the best. Okay. P number 4 is the best P. P less than 0.001 is best, because it means my level of confidence is 99.999. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is best. Okay, so coming back to this, so many people are annotating it, but I will delete everything. Okay. So this is again another good example of table. So coming back to discussion now, because I think I have skip some of the figures. Okay, don't worry. So discussion is actually how are you arriving at your conclusions logically. So you have written now, you had hypothesis, you had your methodology, you have your results, and now you are doing your brain to work. You are giving your brain to work. You are feeding your brain, and by looking at various results, by your literature survey, whatever knowledge you have gained, whatever discussions you have had with your group, probably what your supervisor must have told you, or on your own at 4 a.m. in the morning, you must have got some gyan knowledge. Ki, हाँ, it is showing, right? This result means this data means this, right? So that is all, this comes in discussion part. Okay, so how your findings relate to what scholars know already, because you are writing a paper. So this discussion part is what a good researcher also reads along with abstract. Okay, because it will decide actually whether your researcher is of some use to me or not, by just reading discussions. Because the person who is writing good discussion possibly knows how to do research well. So if discussion part is good, then probably I will read the entire paper along with, I mean, abstract. I am reading discussion because I am interested after reading abstract. Okay, so that is how I read good papers personally. Okay, so what are the significance? And please understand, the discussion part also starts with a restatement of your hypothesis and most important points. So it's a kind of doing something again and again. Okay, so discussion itself is a kind of the whole paper, but it has a focus on the logic leading to the conclusion. So it can start, I mean, I have seen good research papers where discussion part starts with a kind of introduction part. So it's a very good summary of introduction. I have seen some discussion parts where I need not write, even read introduction part. I just go to discussion part and read only discussion to find out whether this paper is useful to me or not. So some people might think that abstract, it is also coming in abstract, it is also coming in introduction, it is also coming in discussion, it also coming in future directions later. Then why are you repeating it? But please remember, it is not repetition. It's a way the brain should think. Like if I want to give latest example, Chat GPT. In Chat GPT, if you ask Chat GPT to write, say 1000 page article on certain topic, it can write. If you say then that write 1000 page article including some tables, I mean, not, it cannot include tables, but tabular data, some kind of data, right? It can write article. Then, but then summarize that 1000 word article into 10 words. It can also do that into 10 words, or say 10 sentences at the most, 100 words. So that is how you should think, that finally the discussion part is going to your conclusion part. So it's a crux of philosophy basically. And many people do PhD, which is a doctor of philosophy. So it's not actually you have done something. It's a degree basically that you are earning whether you can do logical research or not, research or not. So it's a license to research basically. Okay, it's not that you have done a good research. Earning a PhD degree is a license to research. So whether you have a good philosophy or not in doing research, what you do. Okay, so writing a good discussion is also very important. So the first paragraph deals with basically the hypothesis once again. The what question you are answering, what is your hypothesis, how are you arriving at, and then some part of pros and cons, literature review, strengths and limitations, again it will come, implications of your findings, other findings of your study, future direction, everything will come here in your discussion part. Okay. And the last paragraph will deal with conclusions. Now, many research paper have conclusions separately also, but it's okay. You can either limit it in your discussion part or write separate also. Okay. But don't write conclusions which are general conclusions. Okay. Limit your conclusions to those only which your data can support. That's it. If you are writing conclusions where you cannot support your data through your data, don't write it. Okay. So each and every word and each and every point you are writing as a conclusion part should have evidence where in your research paper itself. It should have evidence in your research paper itself. That is how your research paper should be. And finally, references. I think I can spend again some time here, but due to lack of time, I'll skip it. But follow standards at any cost, right? And say no to plagiarism. Please, 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 please. Okay. Never compromise on quality over quantity. Okay. And beware of quality of conferences, on the spot entries to international conferences ये भी देखा है मैंने, and how bad it was, I know. Okay. Review process is very important. Many journals call themselves as peer reviewed journals, but I don't know how the review is done. Good reviewers are very important because good reviewers actually open up new ways for your direction of research. Okay. So मतलब रिव्यूअर्स कैसे होने चाहिए, क्वालिटी कंट्रोल वाले होने चाहिए कि जा बेटा फाइनल टेस्ट तेरी ऐसी होगी कि ये ऐसा रास्ता है, दिस इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टेरेन, नाउ गो थ्रू दिस इज हाउ रेफरीज शुड वर्क बेसिकली, and the tougher the review is better for you. Okay. So just don't send your papers to cheap quality journals and cheap quality conferences because your review is tough. Basically it is good for your research. Okay. And novelty is must. So right, beware of novelty. So just this already I have shown to you, so I'll skip this. So what is my advice? Advice is attitude takes you to the altitude. So it's very important. Motivate yourself all the time and take the dosage of positive attitudes regularly. Read, think. Thinking should become your obsession basically, and keep always analysis mode on. Have good problem solving skills and avoid distress, but use eustress. Okay. So just in 2 minutes. So there are actually two lines in stress. One is called as eustress line, and the other line is distress line. Okay. So with respect to time, actually the gap between this eustress and distress is also increasing, but the eustress itself is also increasing. I mean, the amount of stress you should have. Okay. You should be always between eustress and distress with independent thinking. If somebody says I have no stress, then most probably that person is not working at all. Okay. So there is always a learning pit everywhere. I mean, sometimes you may feel कि ये नहीं होगा, I don't know, I didn't get it, but then you should always rise up and you should get it, right? So basically important message for all the researchers is when the going gets tough, the tough get going. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. I remember this was from very old movie called as Prahar. of Nana Patekar. The people of my generation probably must have seen this movie Prahar. So here the hero goes to NDA Academy, and while training, he must jump from, say, let's say 50 feet high ladder into the water. And so वो ladder ऊपर लिखा था, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So finally, technology, unlike science, is a group activity. It is not based on individual intelligence, but on the interaction of many people. One of my idol, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, has written this in Wings of Fire. And another of his statement, thinking should become your capital asset, no matter whatever ups and downs you come across your life. So finally, to end my lecture, there is a short story I want to share. The story name is The Great Work is Its Own Reward. When someone tells you that you can't do something, look around, consider all options, then go for it. Use all the traits within you. Be creative. In the end, you will succeed. So I thank the organizers once again for giving me this opportunity, and I have utilized the whole 2 hours without any discussion. Sorry for that. But I am here open to questions also. So just give me couple of seconds. I will just start my camera also, assuming that I don't have to go back to the presentation once again.
Participants can ask the question in chat box.
Sorry that I have taken the entire 2 hours.
It was an excellent session, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. So how to decide which journal is good, Dr. Khan? I have given some parameters. That first, see the number of years of publications. Okay. See who are publishing the paper in that journal. If good organizations, respected organizations, renowned organizations, people affiliated to those organizations are putting paper in those journals, that journal is good. And obviously impact factor can be one of the parameter, but impact factor, nowadays many people manipulate.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good presentation, sir. Dr. Yadav here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very informative also.
Thank you,
Very
sir.
nice, very nice.
And I am open to question. That is my WhatsApp number, which I have written. So you can take down my number also. Yes, Professor Akshay, I will share the PPT, and I will share the entire PPT. No, don't worry, right? So nothing is there which I have written on my own. I have just collected the data. Okay, so thank you.
Okay, sir. Can I conclude session, sir?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay. Good evening to all. It has been such an honor to be part of this wonderful session on the behalf of organization. I extend a really hearty vote of thanks to our speaker, Dr. Suhas Gajre sir, who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace this session. Today, we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts on research proposal and paper writing. And this will be surely be going to encourage us while doing work and implement in academics. Thank you, sir. Sincerely thanks to management of Jagdamba Education Societies, and I would like to thanks also respected Principal Sir, Dr. D.M. Yadav Sir, HODs of all departments and organizing committee who handling the FDP throughout. Finally, I would like to thank all of you present here for making the time to be with us today and helping us make this wonderful session. Thank you one and all. I would like to request all participants kindly fill feedback form. Thank you. Have a great evening to all. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much once again.